chapter 1, text 20. Kritavan kila karmani, kritavan kila karmani, saha ramena keshavaha, saha ramena keshavaha, atimartyani Bhagavan, atimartyani Bhagavan, gudaha kapata manushaha, gudaha kapata manushaha, kritavan kila karmani, saha ramena keshavaha, atimartyani Bhagavan, guda kapata manushaha, kritavan kila karmani, saha ramena keshavaha, atimartyani Bhagavan, guda kapata manushaha, guda kapata manushaha, kritavan kila karmani, saha ramena keshavaha, atimartyani Bhagavan, guda kapata manushaha. Kritavan, done by. Kila, what? Karmani, acts. Saha, along with. Ramena, Balaram. Keshavaha, Sri Krishna. Atimartyani, superhuman. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Gudaha, masked as. Kapata, apparently. Manushaha, human being. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being. And so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. Purport. The doctrine of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism are never applicable to Sri Krishna or the personality of Godhead. Can somebody look into the dictionary meaning of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism? Take it out. The theory that a man becomes God by dint of penance and austerities is very much rampant nowadays, especially in India. Since Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were detected by the sages and saints to be the personality of Godhead as indicated in revealed scriptures, many unscrupulous men have created their own incarnations. This process of concocting an incarnation of God has become an ordinary business. Especially in Bengal. Any popular personality with a few traits of mystic powers will display some feat of jugglery and easily become an incarnation of Godhead by popular vote. Lord Shri Krishna was not that type of incarnation. He was actually the personality of Godhead from the very beginning of his appearances. He appeared before his so-called mother as four-armed Vishnu. Then, at the request of the mother, he became like a human child and at once left her for another devotee at Gokula, where he was accepted as the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mata. Similarly, Sri Baladeva, the counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna, was also considered a human child born of another wife of Sri Vasudeva. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that his birth and deeds are transcendental and that anyone who is so fortunate as to know the transcendental nature of his birth and deeds will at once become liberated and eligible to return to the kingdom of God. So, knowledge of the transcendental nature of the birth and deeds of Lord Krishna is sufficient for liberation. In the Bhagavatam, the transcendental nature of the Lord is described in 9 cantos, and in the 10th cantos, his specific pastimes are taken up. All this becomes known as one's reading of this literature progresses. It is important to note here, however, that the Lord exhibited his divinity even from the lap of his mother, that his deeds are all superhuman. He lifted Govardhan Hill at the age of 7, and that all these acts definitely prove him to be actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet, due to his mystic covering, he was always accepted as an ordinary human child by his so-called father and mother and other relatives. Whenever some Herculean task was performed by him, the father and mother took it otherwise, and they remained satisfied with unflinching filial love for their son. As such, the sages of Naimisharanya describe him as apparently resembling a human being, but actually he is the Supreme Almighty Personality of Godhead. Translation with repetition. Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Guru Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Savitam Nena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamscha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhurvyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamam Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Yatkripatamam Vande Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Prabhupada Padita Pavanam. So, first canto, the sages of Naimisharanya are inquiring to begin with from Suta, the son of Romashana. They all sat and they are all doing yajna for many years. And finally they realized than doing these different yajnas with smokes, offering oblation to the fire, the best yajna is to talk about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Romahashana was supposed to do that, but however, Romahashana was killed by Balaram because he was quite proud of his knowledge and he did not respect Balaram. Then his son Suta was told, because Suta heard from Sukadeva Goswami the whole Bhagavatam which was narrated. So he was selected to speak. What was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami? And Sukadeva Goswami spoke what was spoken by many people, including Maitreya and Vidura. So Bhagavatam is knowledge which has been spoken by many people and accepted by many people and performed by many people, and performing which one has got perfection. So it is a time-tested process of Krishna consciousness or time-tested process of spiritual life where one can advance and get to the goal of life, which is liberation from this material body, liberation from this material world. By the way, did you get the meaning? Just read it out. That's the first one. Annual? The representation of objects, especially God, as having animal form or human. Okay. So, not accepting the Lord as an avatara. Avatara means he exists somewhere and is coming down. There's always a original form of an avatara, and he takes, not the Avatar movie. People are learning and creating all these ideas from the Shastras without accepting the Shastras. They won't accept all these stories of superhuman activity for time pass, for some kind of an entertainment, but not for God realization. But the Lord's form is such that he is free from all the limitations of this material world. So Bhagavatam speaks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from all the limitations. And all these personalities in Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami, Vidura, Maitreya, Vyasadeva, Narada, all the personalities who speak, whose words, Brahma, whose words are noted in Bhagavatam, have all experienced Krishna consciousness, step by step, in a progressive manner. And they have achieved the final goal, which is accepting Lord Krishna as a supreme shelter. Ishvaraha Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindam Sarva Karana Karanam. To accept the personality of Godhead, Vigraha. So Vigraha, personality, the Lord's address is there, Lord's name is there, Lord's form is there, Lord's character is there, Lord's actual nature is also there in the definition. So that is a complete definition given by Brahma, the Supreme Person of our Parampara. So we conclude, our conclusions in our Krishna conscious life, in small realizations which we have, cannot be different from the conclusions of these personalities. Brahma has concluded, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara is Krishna. And he has Satchidananda Vigraha. He has a form which is not material, but which is Sat, Chit and Ananda, which is eternal, which is full of knowledge, and which is full of Ananda. Irrespective of what form he takes. Because the form is unlimited, it has all the potencies, so he can take any form. And all the forms he takes is Sat. It's eternal. It's full of knowledge, awareness of everything, and it is blissful. Unlike our bodies, which is full of blood, pus, mucus, all kinds of liquids flowing inside the body which we don't have any idea of. All kinds of different instruments which is pumping, which is beating, which is cleaning, which you have no idea about, which does not take, if you don't take care of it, will rot. As soon as the soul leaves the body, it rots. While the soul is in the body and when the body is functioning, also it has no ananda, it has no bliss. We have all these limitations. So, to understand the difference between our body and the body of the Lord is the first level of Krishna consciousness. Because in modern days, especially from the time of Arya Samaj was formed in the Britishers' time by those intellectual Hindus who did not want to, because the Britishers were always belittling Vedas. All the points in Vedas are just stories, are just to teach some discipline to the human beings. It does not have any reality. So that was the conclusion. So all these learned Indians who are learned in all the British schools and from these British teachers, they want to say that, yes, it is correct, but there is some point in that. And what is the point? They accepted the impersonal form which is described in the Vedas. Word jugglery, philosophical word jugglery, but denying the form of the Lord. So this group came up which stopped talking about all this mythological story. Or just saying that all these are stories. In Bhaktisiddhanta's time, everybody thought all this, starting with the Arya Samaj people, that Puranas have no value. Vedas and Upanishads have value. That was their conclusion. Just to equalize themselves with the learned and so-called educated class of people. We are also educated. We also accept all the modern things. But Lord is there. But He is not having any form. Don't be bewildered by all these stories. All these stories are just for children. All the stories of Krishna, Vishnu, Narasimha, Varaha. How can a human being, how can a God take the form of tortoise? There is no other work of what? Tortoise. Fish. Boar. Very boring. Half lion, half man. What is all these things? Hallucination of some people. So they're very educated class. They say these are all stories for children, just to teach them good habits, teach them there's a Lord, teach them some principles, moral principles in life. But Lord is Nirananda, the Supreme Brahman, as explained in Vedas and Upanishads. So they totally swung to one side, giving up Purana. And Bhaktisiddhanta had a tough time to establish that Purana is the oldest. Puranas are older than Vedas, or older than Upanishads. And they had to write commentaries on different Upanishads to conclude Bhakti as a supreme. Vedas do talk of Bhakti, but it is very covered. Why is it covered? Because in the creation itself, they don't want unintelligent, Shudra mentality people to understand the Supreme Lord. Why? Because the Shudra mentality is always exploitation. Brahmanical quality is always doubtailing. These are the two qualities you see in the material world. Either I exploit everything for my sense gratification, or I can utilize it. So a devotee, a Vaishnava, his qualification is that he utilizes things for the Supreme Lord. Just like a son, he will utilize all the riches of the father to increase the business of the father. But a bad son, he would exploit everything and waste everything. So these are the two classes of people. So when the Shudra mentality people understand the Vedas, they will exploit it. Hence, the Vedas were always kept away from them, not because they were not qualified, not because they were not equally qualified to learn, but they are not qualified in their character, in their Brahmanical qualities, in their quality of surrender. When you don't have the quality of surrender, then you would exploit even the Vedic knowledge. So the Brahmanical people, they would learn this. But the Supreme Lord's position in the Vedas is very, very covered, guhyam. It's covered and kept. And the Upanishads, which are supplementary to the Vedas, are experiential knowledge of the great rishis. So Upanishads are all written by great sages. But they have expounded bhakti in that. But these rationalist people, they kept it aside and they thought Vedas and Upanishads are great. Where there is form of the Lord is not given. But we all know great Upanishads, Mandukya Upanishad, all these different Isha Upanishad, these Upanishads give the form of the Lord. In fact, the Upanishad says the Lord is an autocratic person, that he will give bhakti to only person who is totally dedicated and who is favored by the Lord. And the Lord can favor anybody and anybody he wants. No qualities, no qualification. If the Lord wants, he will confer bhakti on that person. He does not look for any other qualification. He is an autocrat. Now, to accept the autocratic position of the Lord, Shudra mentality will not work. We are all having Shudra mentality. Shudra mentality means I don't want to be subservient. Rather, Shudras are the modern world, not the old Shudras. Old Shudras are subservient. But the modern Shudras are intelligent Shudras, educated Shudras. And educated Shudras means I don't want any boss. I am the Lord. So the Shudra mentality cannot accept an authority. And the Vedic Shastras are such that only if you accept an authority, you would get the knowledge. These are contradictory. I don't want to accept a Lord, I don't want to accept a leader, but I want to know who is God. That is not possible. The process of understanding Lord is to be humble, subservient, surrendered, serve, then earn the mercy and you get the Lord. Because permanently a living entity is subservient. Constitutionally, living entity is subservient. So the modern age people can never accept Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram as the Supreme Lord. And the Lord doesn't care. That is the Lord. There are so many lords in this material world. They care a lot that they are lords. But the Lord is a person who doesn't care that he is a Lord. He doesn't care you accept me as God or not, because I am God. But the modern gods like us, we want to show that I am Lord. So I control people. I manipulate. That is politics. Right? Human lords want to show that they are Lord, and they'll do anything and everything to conclude their Lord. They will advertise. But Krishna doesn't advertise. Right? Krishna can turn the mind of everybody, and all newspapers say, yes, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. All newspapers say must be people accept. The Lord does not look for popularity. So when truth is there, popularity may not be there. So many people want to accept truth which is very popular. And that is a problem in modern age. That person who is most popular must be the right person. But the popularity of this material world is purchased popularity. Either with money or with one's karma. If you are karmically very, very strong person, you will be popular. But just because you are popular doesn't mean that you are Lord. In olden days, like in 70s, 80s, and 90s, the biggest trip was for people to say he is Bhagavan. This Bhagavan, that Bhagavan, so many Bhagavans had in Prabhupada's time. So Prabhupada explains people want to be Bhagavan by small tricks or mysticism. Maybe mystic, or mostly it is trick, 99% is trick. Create ash, useless stuff. And people call him Bhagavan. But modern days, people have understood. Human beings are not fools, so I cannot call myself Bhagavan. So the latest trip is to call oneself Guru. That is the latest trip. I can't call myself Bhagavan. That is out of question because you cannot fool people. Not only that, I don't even have karma to create bhasma, to create ash. At least those Bhagavans had some power to create ash. The modern Bhagavans don't have power to create ash. So they have stopped talking about themselves to be Bhagavan, but they are all pure gurus. Why? Popularity. Then you can become popular. And you talk what people want to listen to. You don't talk what Shastras say. In fact, they say don't read Shastra because you will be contaminated by Shastra. You will be biased. You have to create knowledge on your own. It doesn't matter what stupid things they are talking. So this is the model. So gullible people, they get attracted to these things, not to the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Not only in the modern age, there were the period of Duryodhanas and Karnas who never accepted Krishna. Many sages, Narada, Vyasa, Bhishma, all these people went and told Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, do you know who this Krishna is? Do you know whom you are playing with? Whom are you trying to be against? Because Duryodhana had one idea. If I catch Krishna, then Pandavas are won over. Because if you catch Krishna, what will Pandavas do? They'll come running and say, whatever you want, you take, leave Krishna. Right? Pandavas are so attached to Krishna. Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhima, these people say, oh, no, you want the kingdom, you want to kill us, do whatever you want. So Duryodhana knew the position of Krishna as dear to Pandavas and he always wanted to capture Krishna. Because he thought, Krishna, yes, he is great, but not God. He's a mystic person. But my mysticism is more than his. So if I capture him, if I tie him, when he comes for peace, he's coming for peace. Talks. He's a great Chalu person. He'll have some ideas. If I capture him, then I won. No war. So these Duryodhanas and Dhritarashtras thought Krishna is ordinary. So all these knowledgeable sages told him, don't play with Krishna. And they showed so many stories how he and Arjuna are great personalities. You cannot win over them. Krishna is none other than Narayana. Arjuna is none other than Nara. They are the original Nara and Narayana. Mystical, great mystic personalities, the Supreme Person having all the controls. And they told so many stories about how great kings, proud kings, wanted to fight. There was a king who wanted to fight everybody in this world. And finally a sage told, why are you so puffed up? You really want to fight with equals? Go and fight with Narayan. Where is he found? He is in Badrikashram. Go and fight with him. He went all the way to Badrikashram to fight. And Narayan said, we have no time. We are busy. No, I need to fight. Everybody sages, all the sages say that you are the right person to fight. Narayana was meditating and they created all huge army of people, and this king was shit scared. And he wouldn't fight. At least he surrendered at last. So there are great kings like this, even bigger kings than you, Duryodhana, who have realized the position of Narayana and surrendered to them. You also surrender. You will benefit. But Asuric mentality, Shudra mentality is such that the anger and the ego takes over and they don't want to surrender. So Krishna came for a peace deal. Krishna came. Mahabharata explains the whole way how Krishna appeared in the great assembly, huge assembly of all great kings. And all the sages also came to hear what Krishna is going to say. Just like we send a mobile message and everybody comes. But the sages don't need any mobile messages. They all know when is the right time, when the Lord will speak, when to go and hear Him. These are all mystic understanding, which the modern people who have no idea, because for them space is an empty space. But space is full of energy, which has all the subtle energies in it. So these great sages use all these methods to hear and understand what is happening in this world. What is the latest avatar doing? When is the latest avatar speaking? When the Lord comes, when does He speak? So they are all interested in hearing the Lord. So these great personalities realize a lot, not because they are fools, not because they are gullible, because they have established the truth that Krishna is the Supreme Lord through their experiences in their life. They have realized that human body is so limited, human life is so limited, we cannot anyway become God. But our nature is Satchit Ananda. We have a rightful position to be happy, but we are looking for happiness in the wrong direction. They have realized that they have gone inside themselves and meditated, and they have realized the Vedic truth. And that is Upanishad. Realized Vedic knowledge is Upanishad. But Puranas are Itihasas, which are historical narrations of the Supreme Lord, which is given in Puranas. So the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they have worked hard to put Purana, and among Puranas, Bhagavatam as the most important Purana, which is actual truth, which talks and reveals the truth. They are not stories, whatever is told in Puranas, they are historical narrations. And all these people have realized Supreme Lord Krishna, who is enacting like a human being. Whether illiterate people like Devaki or the mother of Pandavas, Kunti Devi, or learned personalities like Bhishma, or great sages as Vyasa, Narada, Devala, Asita, doesn't matter who they are. From simple people to most intelligent class of people, have concluded Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we are part and parcel of Him, and our goodness or our safety is in surrendering to Him. So these are concluded by the great sages, by their experiences. So bhakti reveals bhakti itself. We need to start bhakti. When we start a little bit of bhakti, more bhakti is revealed. And when we do that more bhakti, another more bhakti is established in the heart. So bhakti establishes bhakti, but we need to start. And where do we start? With Shraddha, with faith. If this Shraddha is not there, then we cannot start. We have to start the car. Unless the car is started, it won't move. So the starting process is having a little bit of faith. So we are people who have got that little faith and we are surrendered to Krishna. Now we need to fan that faith and make it convert into Shuddha Bhakti, Kevala Bhakti. And once we get Bhakti, Bhakti is self-sustained. Bhakti sustains bhakti. There's no question of outside push needed to get bhakti. Now we are pushing ourselves so many things to get bhakti. So much of struggle, bodily struggle, mental struggle, push from others. So many requirements are there for us to do bhakti. Because bhakti is very, very komala. But this komala bhakti, once it is fanned, it becomes very, very strong. Then we don't need anything else. Bhakti can sustain itself. Example is given like a person who is eating. A person who is hungry and is eating, he feels satisfaction on his own. You go and ask him, you are satisfied? Yes. How do you know you are satisfied? No, I know I am satisfied. But how do you know you are satisfied? I am satisfied. Bhakti is like that. Once you gain bhakti, you are satisfied. By itself. So bhakti has this tendency. It provides more bhakti and it sustains itself. So these great personalities have done that. And that is what we need to do. But we need to fan the bhakti. We are not able to fan the bhakti because we are giving importance to ourselves. Ourselves, when you say, we are not giving importance to the soul. If we are giving importance to the soul, then that becomes our own self-interest, swartha gatihi, and that is needed. But when we don't know who we are, when we think I am my intelligence, when I think I am my ego, where I have my priorities, when I think that I am a mind which has its preferences and non-preferences, then we cannot surrender. My ego is important. My popularity is important. My worship is important. My respect is important. As long as we go with this thought, bhakti will not flourish. Yeah, some spark is there in us, but that spark has to be converted. Always example is given bhakti with this story of making, we always say making of this jaggery, right? Good. If these malas are not removed, bhakti does not become pure. Just like when you make candy, you have to remove all the mucks which is coming out. Otherwise, candy will not be pure candy. It will be filled with dust. So our bhakti is filled with dust. Why? Because we have not removed all these anarthas. Kama, krodha, moha, mada, matsarya, puja, pratishtha, labha. I am woman, I am man, I am wife, I am husband, I am thin, I am thick, I am powerful, I am weak. Powerful has a pride, being proud, and weak people have the depression that they are weak. Both are wrong. Right? Self-pitying is also sense gratification. Because you are not that. You are not that mind which is depressed. Nor are you that mind which is very powerful. So unless we realize that we are simple souls supposed to surrender to the Lord, perform our bhakti yoga without any kind of comparison of importance, identifying the mistakes in others, glorifying the small goodness in oneself. This is our time. When we do bhakti, when we do seva, we are not thinking of the Supreme Lord's pleasure. We are supposed to think of the Supreme Lord's pleasure. I am washing a pot. I am making a garland. I am cleaning a place. I am thinking about my importance. Or I am thinking about the weakness of others. Oh, he doesn't do properly. He is full. He is very proud. He is puffed up. He is not surrendered. He doesn't do anything properly. I do everything very nice. But I am doing it this consciousness. But real bhakti means I do it because Krishna is pleased. The more I do, Krishna is pleased. I am tying a garland for Krishna. I am cleaning a place. I am preaching to somebody. So whenever we do bhakti, more bhakti is not coming because we are shutting the door with our importance. So with that mentality, we cannot understand Krishna. Today we are understanding Krishna because Krishna is very popular. ISKCON has made Krishna very popular, so I also want to be devotee in ISKCON. Tomorrow when there are thousands of newspapers talking bad of ISKCON, no, I don't go to ISKCON. Before I used to go, now I don't go. We always want to side with which is advantageous. We don't want to side with truth. But a self-realized person is he who sides with truth always, whether the truth is popular or not popular, whether it's accepted by thousands or not accepted by anybody. Truth is truth. And that is what Bhagavatam teaches. Bhagavatam doesn't make us gullible and weak to side with what is popular for our safety. Bhagavatam does not look about human safety. It looks about the position of the Supreme Lord. Hence, Gaudiya Vaishnavas always position Krishna in his right form, free from all malas, free from all material tinges. That is the beauty of Bhagavatam, number one, and the beauty of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, such that they don't compromise for their name, fame. When we start, especially big institutions like us, when we become too conscious of the public popularity, truth will be given second position. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas don't do that. Truth is always first. Whether you are popular, whether you are accepted, whether people are throwing stones or people are throwing flowers. Everybody wants to get flowers thrown at. Nobody wants stones to be thrown at. But truth will not hide when stones are thrown. So Bhagavatam makes us very confident that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the conclusion. He is a person to whom we have to surrender, and that is our benefit. Doesn't matter materially what is the position. As ages go by, sometimes some are popular, sometimes some are not popular. In the beginning days of ISKCON, we were never popular. As soon as anybody sees devotees, they only say Dam Maro Dam. Right? So you're going to ISKCON, what? You get ganja there? Or there's a time when, this has become very popular. When you have popular, many people want to side. But when something negative comes, how many of us will stand? With Bhagavatam. Some great person comes and talks against Krishna. Will you change your mind? Bhagavatam gives us a strength not to change the mind. Bhagavatam gives us a strength that Krishna is absolute. This is practical. This is practically experienced knowledge. So we don't want anybody to say Krishna is right or wrong. We don't want anybody to show magics. So we need to grow in our bhakti, in our faith, in such a way that we don't get shaken by different popular isms or popular theories in different times. Every 50 years or every 30 years, opinions change, public opinion changes. Devotees don't go by the change in public opinion. They only have one opinion, and which has been there since thousands and thousands of years, millenniums after millennium. 500 years back, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established, 5,000 years Krishna established, and thousands of years before, sages have established. Krishna is a supreme person. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasa Bhabratya. So that knowledge is absolute knowledge. Other knowledges are all relative knowledge, which changes according to taste. And if you say, why we are not getting that confidence, why we are not getting that absolute truth in us as established, realized, and we determined to follow it properly, it's because of our own weakness. And the weakness is only one thing. We put ourselves first. Whatever situation comes, we put ourselves first. We don't put Guru and Krishna first. Not Guru. We have to put Vaishnavas, Guru, and Krishna first. Oh, I'll put Krishna first always. I have no other way. He is first. Okay, I taken Diksha, I'll put Guru also first. No other choice. I have to go through Guru. Vaishnavas, I can't put Vaishnavas first. Why? My ego doesn't allow. My self-importance doesn't allow. But bhakti is such that only when we put Vaishnavas, Guru and Krishna first, we get bhakti. So this is something which has to be practically done in our day-to-day life. Then bhakti becomes fixed. Real bhakti becomes fixed in our heart. So this is Bhagavatam's conclusion. And this is what the sages have concluded. Any questions or comments? No questions? No questions means truth conclusions. Everybody accepts or nobody accepts? One question? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, we mainly come to ISKCON for our happiness. But now, as you said, we have to satisfy Guru and Krishna.
The cat is out. We come to Krishna for our happiness. We come to go to temple for our happiness. That is the first thing we have to understand. We are not coming here for our happiness. And thanks for being very honest. Because 99% of the people come for this. And that is why they get dejected. That is why they get hit. We get hit when we come for our happiness. We never get hit when we come for Krishna's happiness. So it's the most important point. We have to come to Krishna consciousness for giving happiness to Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. We understand that he is a master of the senses, and we have to understand that our senses are for his satisfaction. Otherwise it is becoming ulta. I am the God and he is a servant. I, the God, is being very happy. People come with lot of desires to the temple. And the primary motive of these desires are nothing but self-centered benefit. Happiness, popularity, importance, whatever it is. And that leads to frustration. And that stops our bhakti. But when we come to Krishna consciousness, I am here for you, Lord. You use me which way you want. Because of the it is springing from the understanding that going to temple is for happiness. Because I'm the house, I'm always unhappy. At least out of the house, I'm happy. Ulta. Olden days, house supposed to be a happy place. The happiest person is he who has no loans. Happiest person is he who eats his food in his house. But nowadays, happiest person is he who eats in big restaurants. Happiest person is he who is full of loans and avoids paying back. It is ulta. So we come to the temple. The understanding is, I'll be happy. All my problems will be gone. That is not the real case. That is a byproduct, being happy. Oneself is a byproduct because we are part and parcel of Krishna. When the root is sufficiently nourished, all the parts of the tree becomes nourished. Same way, when the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Person, Purna Person is made happy, the parts and parcel automatically becomes happy. That is the proper understanding. So people bring things, people give money. I'll give money if my name is put in 10 inches bold. Right? I brought garland today and the pujari did not put it on the Lord. I'm so unhappy. Why? Because I wanted to see my mala on the Lord and feel, my mala is there. My mala is there. Mala is very beautiful because of me. The dress I stitch, because I stitch is very beautiful. The pujari did not put the dress which I gave. Temple did not use the sari which I gave. My work is to give. Lord wants, he will wear it. Like yesterday we heard the story of Jagannath. The Lord wants, he will. He will take the worst of the lotus, putrefied flower also. Because he is not seeing the flower. He is not seeing how beautiful dress you stitch. He is not seeing how much flowers you bought, how many rupees you gave, what vehicle you gave temple, what material you gave temple. He is seeing what was behind that. Bhava grahi janadana. He is always bhava grahi janatana. He only wants the bhava in which you are doing it. He does not want really what you do it. He will accept it. But that is not what he is really looking at. He's looking with what bhava did you say? With what bhava are you preaching? Are you preaching to become a guru? Or are you preaching to glorify me, the Lord? Are you doing this service for self-respect and position and name and fame? Or are you doing it to please me? So Lord doesn't change. He's only looking for bhava. So we have to understand that. We are here to serve Him. We don't want Him to serve. There are two concepts. One is I am the center, and the other is the Lord is the center. When you make the Lord the center, the object and the subject. We go to the temple thinking that we are the object. We are the subject. We think Lord is the object. Lord is not the object. You are the object. Or we are the object. The Lord is seeing you. The Lord is seeing what you are doing. The Lord is seeing how you are doing. Ours is ulta. I go and see the Lord. I do for the Lord. Right? So that is different. So when I make the Lord the center, and I am the object of the Lord is seeing me. So our pleasure, our happiness is automatic. It's naturally there, it is automatic. But when we go only for our sake to the temple, if we go for our sake to the organization, then we can get disappointed. Many times this is what happens. In the beginning we are very enthusiastic. Later on we are not enthusiastic because we put ourselves first. So if you experience this, put yourself last and see. Nothing is going to happen. Your food will come, your life will go on. But the mind will fight. And that is the internal fight which we need to do with Shastra, with the knowledge, with Bhagavatam, with Gita, with the slokas, to remind ourselves that how I am the last. I am not the subject, I am not the actual important person. The Lord is. So entire Krishna conscious life is nothing but this. How we can put others in the front and others last. And that is what the Lord wants. And such a person, bhakti becomes flourishing in his heart. Otherwise, we always ask, what will you do? What will I get? Same thing, what will I get? If I give 1 rupee, what will I get? If I come to Krishna and say, what will I get? You won't get anything. Rather, he will take everything that you have. But if you tell that, nobody will come. So yes, in the beginning we may preach, come, take nice prashadam, you are taken care of, etc., because of my weakness. Rupa Goswami is always sad. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami are always sad. Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving us importance? Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will always criticize and fire, who is that person, the old person, who gives sandal to the Lord Chaitanya, the older personality. Forget his name. So he chastises. So Rupa Goswami knew, we are not able to take the chastisement of the Lord. That is why the Lord is very careful with us. We understood the point. Because only when you are loved, you are chastised. The liberty of chastisement is only when you are loved. But we cannot take it, right? We cannot see that love in chastisement. So Rupa Goswami is always, why are you giving us importance? Because we are not surrendered. Because when you are surrendered, you give up yourself to the Lord. And you don't care whether the Lord is glorifying you or the Lord is chastising you. For you, the Lord is Lord. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayers himself. Whether you accept me or you don't accept me, you embrace me or you kick me away, you are always my Lord. So that is the conclusion of bhakti. So very important point, as we said, we need to come here to give. Not only people who come here, people who stay here also. People who stay here also have to be giving only. We cannot be receiving. So when we are always giving ourselves to the Lord, we are given the life. People are inside the temple are given the life. But every day we are carrying out our life. So that doesn't grow, then bhakti doesn't grow. And people who come to the temple from outside have to come with the mentality of giving and not taking back. Taking back subtle happiness, subtle pleasure. I'm giving money. So in one sense, I'm charity. I'm giving away 1 lakh rupees. So my bank balance is less by 1 lakh. I'm giving it for what? To get name, fame. He is a great congregation devotee. He always gives. Tomorrow another rich man will come, richer than you, and he'll give more. Then you'll be sad because my number is gone. But if I was giving to Krishna, not because of earning something from him, then I'll always be happy. So our purpose is to come to Krishna to see what I can give, not what I can take. This is a core misunderstanding we all have. Sometimes many years it takes to understand this. But that's the crux of the point. Chanting Hare Krishna is not for my happiness. Chanting Hare Krishna is for Krishna's happiness. Krishna likes to hear his name. Krishna gives himself up to those people who chant his name purely. Krishna likes to. So the enjoying tendency should only be in Krishna. Because he is the only person who can enjoy. How can a part enjoy? If this finger is thinking that I want to enjoy, it is impossible. It's very unnatural for it. The whole body, the person has to enjoy. Same way, the whole body of this universe is Krishna. We are all part and parcel. He can think of enjoyment. Part cannot think of enjoyment. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Achintya Veda Aveda Tattva, which is a final conclusion. The part cannot think of enjoyment. Only the whole can enjoy. Part can enjoy by being part of enjoyment of the whole. So we always enjoy prasadam, mercy of the Lord. So in all our activities, if we have that in mind, we will always be happy in Krishna consciousness, no matter what happens. So everything is Krishna. We are looking for justice. But we don't understand what are the injustices I did in this world. But from the Lord's point, everything is very just. In your temple, nothing is good. Nobody takes care of me. Nobody gives me prasadam. I will not come to the temple. Good if you don't come. One problem less. Right? Who's the loser? The Lord doesn't lose anything. The Lord will be sad. And Lord will be angry at the devotees in the temple. Why didn't you make the person come? Lord will be angry at the devotees in the temple if you don't give the real knowledge to the people. What is the real knowledge? The real knowledge is surrender, not ask, give. We are not here to come to ask, we are here to give. And if you are always asking, then we are not teaching you the right thing. But everybody cannot listen to this, everybody cannot understand, because to understand this takes time. So these subject matters are not always talked about. But if you really want to know the subject matter of Krishna consciousness, you have to surrender and you have to pray and you have to earn for the association of those people who talk truth despite any adverse. So this is the truth we are talking about in Krishna consciousness, right? Okay. Gandhira SRIMAD BHAGAVATHAM ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.